The two time travel ones I want to play are Radiant Historia, which I think was for the DS. But when I was playing Stories Path of Destinies, everybody's like, you should play this because it's exactly what you're describing. And I also want to play Chrono Trigger because I heard Chrono Trigger was like just amazing across the board.
Now they're saying it's like I never played the game because of the way I explained it. I'm doing the thing that Wander does when he explains Kubro to me, where I simplify the thing in the not entirely sensical way because I'm explaining to someone who doesn't know the plot of the game. Like the ultimate villain of that game is somebody who's trying to kill you because you keep time traveling and it affects somebody that they care about. So I just cut to the chase and said you're being killed by a time bounty hunter. Is what I said.
No, it makes total sense. Because if you do the shell thing where you explain the entirety of the plot, I'm gonna get a glazed look on my eyes.
Yeah, we're gonna hear about a nonsensical Star Wars character no one knows about, and she's gonna go on for 7 minutes about it, and we're all gonna lose track of where she was going.
Like I love Shell, I love her stories.
There we go.
But for everybody, this is solo wit, and half the time I lose track of who she's talking about. Because there's so many things going on all the time.
Also, if anyone ever criticized Lightning for basically being Cloud, like a shameful like gender swap version of Cloud, so they could dip into the well of reusing the most popular character of the franchise, essentially. The villain of 10-2 is Sephiroth. Like everything about its visual design is like, I'm a Native American Sephiroth. It's like this is
10-2 or 13-2?
13-2, sorry. 10-2 was Charlie's Angels, the video game.
It was.
And it was amazing. It was amazing if you're already okay with of them being kind of dumb.
Yeah. I saw it. I saw the trailer and I'm like, this is gonna be stupid. I started playing it and I'm like, this is stupid, but it's fun stupid.
Yes.
As opposed to like...
It's the good stupid.
Yeah. Oh, we gotta be downstairs.
I've played a lot of bad, stupid Japanese games, so fun, stupid is pretty nice sometimes.
Yeah. If the gameplay can back up a good, if the gameplay backs up a dumb story, I don't mind.
Yeah. And the gameplay is more or less Final Fantasy X's gameplay, but with job switching constantly.
Yes. I've told you about Chroma Squad at least a little bit, right?
I just know that it's like a tactical game.
It's a tactical RPG. It's
with
honestly
Power
probably
Rangers.
it's probably one of the stupidest premises for a story I've ever played, and I loved every minute playing that game. You start off as like a bunch of just like stunt doubles for Power Rangers, effectively, and you get mad at your director, and you make your own studio, and by the end of it, you're in space fighting like actual overlords that have come to take over Earth, and the plot never dials it down from, like, 11 on the stupid scale, and it's great.
Like, to give you an idea of how dumb
also
it
had
was,
3 different endings.
like how dumb 13-2 was, there's a part where the villain explains to you, every time you travel through time, it kills my girlfriend, basically. Not girlfriend, it's like a girl that's like a woman he's guarding or something that's like some sort of manifestation of time or something like that. Every time you travel through time, it kills her somehow. And I think at one point you even witness her die. But, like, if you're traveling through time, I can't help but wonder, like, which version of her dies? Like, she dies and comes back to life over and over again, and, like, then, like, he's trying to save her from the suffering, basically. But, like, is it, like, wibbly-wobbly, Doctor Who, timey-wimey? Like, if I time travel at 1987, which version of the girl dies when? And stuff like that. Like, because, like, there's weird inconsistencies there, and it's never quite explained. It's like... Is he trying to undo all of the time travels you ever do to stop it from ever dying? Or it's like, it's a weird thing of like, this is the most weirdly complicated explanation for a villain's motivation ever. And then the game ends and you win. Because it's actually really easy, so you don't get much more than that, honestly. Here we go.
Target has vital information
but really,
that we will need to extract.
This dialogue's important, right? This is just them explaining.
No, it's not. She's just saying,
it's the generic mission one.
The target. The annoying part is she's like, the target's in your vicinity as I'm shooting at him, and she should be like, shoot him! Just shoot him!
You just walk up to people and incinerate them.
Yeah. Like, it bothers me that there's...
Because they beg for their lives, and you're like, ha ha ha!
Oh yeah. It's kind of freaky. Like, I really wish they'd actually, like, get more into the backstory and, like, the depth of this game. And, like, the society, because... You okay?
There's a lot of guys. I'm probably okay, but there's a lot of guys.
Just Tesla them, and then turn on speed boost and run away. Very fast.
I used up all my stuff.
Oh.
Here we go.
Just bullet jump out of there. Enemies have, like, shit aim if you're flying.
Just feels weird to ignore everything. So I keep wanting to fight everything. Here we go.
At the same time, if you want experience or money, there are way better places than this for that.
Here we go. But you want to hear about the single dumbest thing that really broke me for all of Final Fantasy 13 too? Like the single moment?
What?
This will be spoilers for 13-2, obviously, but it's a mid-game thing, like not the ending or anything. So Hope shows up in the game, but he's an adult now, or at least he is in one of the periods you encounter him and stuff like that. And so Hope's like the whiny kid from the first game that was like, "You killed my mommy," or even though she died in war, but I'm gonna blame you, and this my whole arc is attacking you for it and stuff like that.
Yep.
You go to the future and you fight a robot. It's like a super badass boss robot thing, and you find out that it destroyed all of humanity. The entire future's gone. It killed everything, and then you find out that Hope built it in the first place. So, you fight this thing. It's actually a very easy boss fight, but every time you get its health low enough, you get a dialogue prompt out of nowhere to pick one of 4 different dialogue options to just shout for no reason. And there'll be stuff like, "This is really hard," or something like that, or like, "Come on guys, band it together," or something like that. I don't remember the exact dialogue options, but one of them is ultimately to just yell at Hope for making the robot in the first place. Hope, who is not there, by the way. It's an empty room of your party fighting the boss fight. You can yell at Hope, and when you yell at Hope, it turns out that Hope, from the past, was looking through his magical time travel monitor into the future and watching you fight the robot, and you yelling at him makes the robot disappear because he never makes it.
So he can see this robot in the future. He sees that it murders humanity. He's okay with it until somebody that he knew.
Yeah. Like it's like the laziest lampshade plot point of like all you had to do, like they try to make it as if you're somehow doing it, but literally if he's already looking in the future, he know that the moment he looks forward in the future, he knows what happened, so he would then not make the machine, especially since it kills him. Like it kills the future, it kills everyone in the future, including him. So if he was ever going to look in the future in the first place, then he would have then not built the machine. And like, what sucks is it would have been so easy to make this make sense, because all you have to do to fix this plot line is you go to the future, you find a horrible machine that killed humanity, you defeat the horrible machine, you find out Hope built it, go back to the past, tell Hope not to build it. Like, that's still technically some kind of paradox, but you could pull out some time, like Doctor Who bullshit of like, I'm a complicated time whatever the fuck, so like, I can create paradoxes, it's fine. So like you don't have to deal with the plot point of like but like you don't have to deal with the plot point of like, well, if you don't do the machine, then didn't you never tell him to not make it, and it loops back on itself and undoes itself or stuff. Like you could do a lot of storylines just do the Doctor Who bullshit of like, I exist outside the timeline because I time traveled. But the simple fact that he was looking towards the future automatically without you doing anything means he would have then not built the machine in the first place, and it would have never existed. It's like you shouting doesn't make any sense, but all they had to do was let you beat the boss fight like a normal boss fight, but then still want to go back in the past because even though you defeated it, it's still going to destroy all of humanity before you get there, so you go back to the past and tell them not to build it. Boom. Easy.
According to chat, the machine made itself.
That's not what the game says. The game says Hope made it, and then Hope doesn't make it, and that's how you beat it.
Alright.
On top of not making sense at all is that the machine built itself after it kills Hope in the back. That doesn't even make sense either.
Yeah, none of this makes sense. I still want to play through Final Fantasy 13 as like a stream thing with Shell on a couch.
The funny thing is that if anyone corrects me about any part of this plot line, the correction also makes sometimes even less sense. It's like, holy fuck, they really fucked up the story of this game. And like that's a $60 Final Fantasy sequel that like was hyped and like the big thing, and it's like,
yep.
What people
we're having terrible luck here, unfortunately.
People were attached to the stories of Final Fantasy games at one point.
Yeah. Yeah. You mentioned that like Cloud was like the most popular character ever, and that always bothers me a little bit because like so many better characters than Cloud or Leon.
It's just yeah. I mean, I've never been particularly fond of him, but it's just a fact. It's because he was it's because he's basically a PlayStation mascot.
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
he was there at the right time at the right
cool.
moment. It's like how there's a ton of platformers out there that are better than like there's platformers that are better than the ones that are famous, but the ones that are famous took off, so those are the characters we remember ultimately.
Yeah.
And so
I mean, it makes sense.
Cloud won the marketability lottery and was the first game of its kind on that platform. So it also sold the most copies, and so it becomes the most popular.
I will totally admit, like Final Fantasy VII had quite possibly one of the coolest intros of like the 90s, 2000s, whatever.
Yeah.
Like that whole like you are an eco-terrorist, effectively. Like that was fucking rad.
It's kind of like oh yeah, I always forget how crazy the beginning of 7 is. How weird it is. Oh yeah, we're doing caches.
Honestly, doesn't make any sense. Yeah, we're looking for caches. Unfortunately, I only have one of these
terrorist.
Yeah.
Then again, and on that topic, that's another thing of like 13 trying to remake 7 to some extent with Lightning being Cloud is the fact that you're a group of people on a train escaping from a corrupt society. That's also a sort of weird isolated bubble in the middle of a weird wasteland of just nature and stuff. Like they were trying real hard to capture that lightning in a bottle. Yeah. Had to...
Even the name, come to think of it, Lightning Cloud.
Yeah. They went right back to all the characters being named after nonsense, so everyone's named like Vanille and Hope and Lightning and Snow. It's magic. It's a magical place. Oopsie. Hello. But yeah, it's as far as Cloud goes, it's kind of like how Doctor Who, the most popular doctors and most common occurrences of my favorite Doctor when people say that stuff are often the Doctor that was there when Doctor Who had a spike of popularity or had a relaunch or had a particularly long run of one character. So like it just increased the chance that that was the one that they had time to be attached to.
Yeah. I really liked Eccleston.
Yeah. I really liked Eccleston too. He's great. It's too bad that he had plot lines involving fart monsters.
Yeah. His plot lines were very free.
I mean, he has the best Dalek episode of the entire show. Just because it's just one Dalek in a building, and it seems powerless, but then it starts escaping, and you see his fear, and it's like the first time you've really seen the Doctor afraid, and it really lends credence to the idea of how monstrous this thing is, and it basically promises that's the last one, but then they show up in larger and larger numbers for every season for the rest of the show, and completely ruin that episode.
That pissed me off a bit. I loved it because it was the only time I've ever seen the Doctor like roll in with a weapon, and it like actually did something.
I got caught. Whoops. I lost track of how I was doing.
Yep. Like I'm trying to think of other times when the Doctors have the gun. I guess
I don't think I'm streaming anymore.
Oh, whoops.
Should be recording just fine, but my stream preview looks like it's a still image right now.
Uh-oh.
Try to refresh real quick and see if maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just my preview. I don't know. Oh yeah, it was my preview. Never mind. That's good news.
I am not seeing any caches. This is not encouraging.
Oops. Do we have to find all three of them or just one?
We gotta find all three. Each one has a chance of giving us a
blueprint,
a prime part.
Just the whole part or a blueprint?
Well, like a blueprint. So there's actually like you can get four things from sabotage if you're lucky. Usually it gives you some like random bullshit and one thing, but it's hard to say.
There we go.
I haven't cleared out this level too hard.
It's funny how conversations loop back on themselves, because right now chat's talking about the Final Fantasy VII movie, which I was actually came up with as a topic of discussion with my roommates today.
Really?
It's just a weird coincidence. Yeah, we were. There was kind of a weird shared praise, basically.
I liked that movie as eye candy, but I didn't like it for anything else.
It's the acceptance of the idea, like, this is a bad movie, but also there's a reason that actually kind of makes it worth watching. It's I rank it in the same tier as Sucker Punch, as being this film that exists purely to be a series of spectacle scenes. And hell, it's more entertaining spectacle that's more inventive and interesting than, like, a Michael Bay movie where it's like, explosion thing, a guy flipping over in slow motion as a girl screams again. The kind of stuff going on in those movies. Cause like, have you seen Sucker Punch?
I saw the first half of it.
Yeah. Like,
it was a really long movie.
Yes,
I got
it
to
is.
the World War II sequence, and I was just like, alright, I've lost interest now.
It is a shockingly long movie for what it is. But yeah, it's essentially a sequence of action movie, like, music videos. Like,
yeah,
that almost have nothing to do with anything, but each one of them's just this weird, self-contained, strange action sequence. And it helps a lot that every single scene in that game is a cover of a song that I'm in love with. So it helps a lot at that point. So when they're playing Seek and Destroy and Where Is My Mind and White Rabbit and stuff like that as various, like, genre-changing covers while completely absurd things happen on the screen. So taking on that value alone, it's like, oh, this is worth existing. It's better than what happened after Man of Steel.
Yeah, Man of Steel was pretty bad. Was that the same director?
Yes, that's Zack Snyder.
Wow.
Director of 300, Dawn of the Dead, Watchmen, then Sucker Punch, and then Man of Steel, and Batman vs. Superman. I'm like, I wish he went back to just making fun things that were dumb.
Well, I mean, he did. It's just he lost the fun part, and he just stuck with the
that's
dumb.
the problem. He just went into, like, depressing bad filmmaking instead of what he used to do, which was dumb, absurd stuff, like 300 and Sucker Punch.
I'm trying to think of, like, game development companies that have done the same thing, because that totally exists, but I'm coming up with blanks.
When people start grimdarking. I mean, Naughty Dog's a company that went from fun to serious, except the thing is that it stayed good.
Well, they never lost the fun element, though. Like,
Uncharted
games.
They lost the fun with Last of Us.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. But, like, the
that is the
Uncharted
grimdarkiest
games,
of games.
The only Let's Play series I've truly kept up with was, actually the one that got me into Let's Playing in general. These guys did a really good Let's Play series of Metal Gear Solid, and then an equally good series of Uncharted. And, like, those games look fun from gameplay, but also, like, writing. You know what?
The Metal Gear Solid games are fascinating. Because they just exist to entertain. Like, every design decision about why does this work this way, or why did the story do that, or why is that character like that, is all like, because it's more entertaining that way. In a weird way, it's almost like this weird... At times, it feels like this video game equivalent of Doctor Who, where things happen just because.
Yeah.
Because what the fuck, Doctor Who? There's whole parts of Doctor Who where you're like, what? Why is the story of this now?
Frame rate in this game.
Like, I love that in all of Metal Gear Solid 3, there's a character named Eva who is just hitting on Snake non-stop, just endlessly, and Snake doesn't even slightly pick up on it for most of the game, and will, like, in the middle of a conversation be like, oh my god, look at what this gun can do, and we'll just like totally be tuning her out and stuff like that. I'm like, this is great. This is great.
I am really looking forward to playing through.
This was designed for fun.
Not Final Fantasy. Metal Gear Solid. Yeah. I'm trying to think. How many games are there where the characters themselves seem to be having fun, and you actually believe it? Like, there's Sonic, where it's just like... Like, I guess.
The cringe factor?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a well-written character that seems to enjoy themselves. Because I mean,
Like-
Geralt has like this ongoing veneer of like sarcasm and detachment that where he's just clearly bemused by things every time anything happens.
Yeah, he's a very well-written character, but then again,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, everything CD Projekt Red has done is gold.
It's almost as if they have a
From what
mountain
I've
of
seen.
time to carefully iron out exactly what they want because they're not overseen by a publisher that ruins their products.
Yeah, same thing with... Well, okay, no, Naughty Dog has Sony, but
yeah,
Sony,
but Sony
doesn't seem to
learned.
give a shit.
Sony learned to keep their hands away. The most they probably do is say, make a multiplayer. That's probably why there's weird multiplayer modes on their games.
I'm not finding a single cache. This is really bad.
I don't think I have either. Not so far.
That sucks.
Let's see, fun characters that genuinely seem like they're having fun. It's not always easy. It often has to be kind of an unserious game. Like, one of the first things that's coming to mind, but I don't know if it's really true, is Infamous Second Son, the new protagonist, Denzel? Diesel? I don't know.
Okay, never played that one.
The new protagonist of the Infamous game, or at least the one that's in Second Son at least, like, he is often very amused with the existence of his powers, but the game quickly turns into a dark thing about, like, terrorism and, and, you know, like, the X-Men plot lines of oppressed peoples and everything, so it's not a consistent thing of having fun. Not the way that, like, clearly for most of Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake is having a lot of fun. What I will say is
this
that...
his eye.
Oops. Yeah. Did he lose his eye in that game?
Yeah, he does.
I'm trying to remember that scene now. Things get really confusing because of how many snakes there are, too.
Yeah.
There's like 5, maybe? Not completely ignoring the fact that Peace Walker has like a billion clones or something.
Solid Snake, Liquid Snake, Naked Snake, Solidus Snake,
Venom Snake.
Phantom Snake?
There's a lot of snakes.
Trying to remember.
There is an
one's,
orgy of snakes.
Which game is Phantom Snake in?
I don't know who Phantom Snake is.
Oh, you just made that up.
No, I said Venom Snake.
Oh. Who's Venom Snake?
Venom Snake is shit. Phantom Pain.
Oh, I haven't played that yet.
I kept wanting to say Ground Zeroes, but I don't think it is. Oops. Well,
I'll see if I can get there.
I goofed.
Make no promises. That's
I thought I
a
could crouch
lot of
behind
discs.
cover to stop getting shot in the face for a moment, and weirdly I was pressing the button and nothing was really happening. Not sure why. But yeah, those
Yeah, I
yep,
didn't
there
make
we
it.
go.
You were very far away.
Oh well.
Those gunners are rough.
Yeah. You go down fast with some of those guys. I have not.
Yep.
Oh, you found a cache.
Yeah, I found one of them. I'm progressing. I'm hoping I'll find some more. Worst comes to worst, we just found one.
No,
Or
Chad. I don't think Wander
alternatively-
wants you to tell them about. I don't think Wander wants you to tell him about Metal Gear Solid at all.
Yep. I don't mind spoilers for a game, but I actually.
But there's
really
just
hate
no
people
reason
telling
to.
me spoilers of it. Yeah, there's that
There's just
too.
no reason to spoil Metal Gear Solid. Especially since a lot of the story is built for what the fuck moments.
Only allows travel in one direction.
Yeah.
Start
And I've
forward
also seen a Let's Play of
generators to
everything
reverse the
except for
polarity.
Phantom Pain.
Like, it's
So,
not a
like-
Metal Gear game unless its story somehow recontextualizes the entire story of the series again.
So Keith, if you want to try progressing with the story, I can keep looking for caches for a little while longer.
Oh, like go play with the consoles?
Yeah.
Man, I filled in a lot of map and I have not seen a hint of a black case yet.
Yeah. The problem is they're like hidden in really weird kind of bullshit locations to begin with. All of them I don't know. Like, people keep showing me weird bullshit locations where they're hiding, and I'm like, oh. I actually had a fan message me saying, I can show you where all of the secrets are for everything, and like, let's go right now, and I'm like, no. I don't want that at all.
It's rough
Like,
just how many spots there are to explore.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely hard to deal with. There's like a waterfall spot that I'm looking for now.
These
I
chain
really
gun
wish
guys
it
do
like
not
showed
want
up
to go
on my
down.
map or something. No, they don't.
Come on,
Seriously? Don't
on.
have the waterfall room at all.
die for me. Die for me. There we go. Ooh, they exploded. Now that was satisfying. There we go. Here we go. Oh! Yeah,
nothing room.
Metal
This
Gear
was a
Solid
little
5 is a
nothing room.
super strange case as far as story goes, though.
Yeah.
In particular,
I firmly believe Kojima knew the writing was on the wall. Like, very early on in that project.
yeah, it's a weird case because it's a series that was constantly... Every game was supposed to be the last game for like 4 games. So every game is written for a while to not have follow-ups in a weird way. Like, in particular, Metal Gear Solid 2, when you get into the story of it, it's hard to identify whether or not any of the events of the entire game actually happen at all. Like, that's the kind of bullshit, crazy, like, story-breaking things that the series likes to do. Is that 2 in its entirety might have never happened.
Yes. 2 was...
In fact, it was actually relatively easy to come up with reasons for all of 2 to not exist until 4 came around and started taking characters from 2 and having them in the real world, even though 2 was like exclusively in a simulation, pretty much. Like, there's that kind of crazy stuff going on. I was like, wait, the things from the simulation are now here in real life? I'm like, what the fuck does anything mean? I don't know what it means!
I didn't realize that, it was, like, directly supposed to be simulation. Like, I knew they had, like, weird AI bullshit
Oh yeah.
as part of it.
Here we go.
Yeah, so for these caches, by the way, you're supposed to actually be able to tell them by sound. I stood next to one for, like, a full minute. I could not tell what the hell they're supposed to sound
You
like.
gotta get good, Wander.
I tried, man. They're too high pitched
You gotta
for me.
get good.
Fucking... I hate that phrase.
I know. I know. Because everyone should. I think the people who say it hate it too. It's like the most condescending remark ever. Well, not ever.
Yeah, there's some other ones.
Yep.
Oh, I hate it when people like kind of you've messed up or something. And people are just like, "Nice job," in like the most snooty way possible. Especially when it's like something that mattered. Like, oh shit, what was it? God, I think I like ruined an art project at one point, and some kid was just like, "Nice job," and I'd never even like really interacted with him before. Oh, hey, I found the last one.
Chill out, portal monster. Trying to murder your friends.
Found all the caches.
There's
Okay,
some
I'll be
annoying
there
bubble
shortly.
stuff going on here, but everything hurts me.
There we
Everything
go.
hurts. Everything
Everything's over.
hurts. Ah. Yeah, have you seen the stuff about how, like, in Metal Gear Solid 5, there's just an entire chapter that people have found that is not in the game?
What?
Yeah, there's a whole mission that, like, follows up on storylines that never get followed up on in the main game that have been found, like, in files or, like, a tech demo or something.
Oh,
Like,
and they
you
cut
can-
it out and stuff?
You can watch the incomplete chapter online with, like, cutscenes and everything. You're like, what the fuck? Like, it's just not in the
I
game.
don't remember what other games do that with the nonsensical, like, people go, like, delving into files
I
to,
did not
like,
see you go through the portal, by the way.
Find it.
gotta go fast.
Did not even notice you come into the chamber.
I actually jumped, like, blue, more or less.
Because
That's not too surprising.
yeah, for those that don't
Oh,
know,
it's an
Metal Gear Solid
elevator.
5 just ends. You just play a bunch of missions, and then out of nowhere it's like, oh, credits, it's over. What? Like, with almost no actual conclusion to the storyline, it's just like, oh, it's over now. Well, fuck.
I mean, I really think Kojima knew that Konami was giving him the shaft at the end of it, and it's just like, alright.
I think there was just a work in progress, and like all that controversy happened, and they literally were like, how many missions are currently completed? Alright, that's how long the game is. Roll credits.
Quick, pick up the key.
Because the game has one...
You got the key.
I guess those are called
Now get back to
episodes, and
your
the thing's divided into chapters, like the overarching chapters, but the game's only divided into 2 chapters total, which is weird. And the first chapter takes up like 2/3 of the game and has a clear beginning, middle, and end, and an ongoing storyline. Second chapter is like half of it is these story-driven missions that kind of look like they're going to go somewhere, but they kind of don't. And the other half is literally like challenge variations of missions you've already played.
From what I saw from Donkey, though, 5 looked like the most fun in terms of gameplay.
It's so good. Like it's the definition of a game where all of your complaints are in light of how good it is.
Yeah.
Like here are the massively
excited
highlighted
for-
flaws because of how shiny it all is.
Who's the, what's the studio that picked up Kojima, by the way? Because somebody did.
Sony?
I want to say either Sony or Microsoft.
No, it was definitely Sony. And he made a new company.
Now. It's about
Good.
to collapse.
Fucking, like,
I think it was.
I don't
I'm
know
pretty
what
sure
it
it was
is.
Sony. I'm pretty sure they said the games are going to come out on PS4 and PC.
I don't know what it is, but I've been, like, the more and more, like, the industry goes, the more I'm just like, yeah, Sony's kind of okay. Like, don't mess with the PS4's
Well, yeah.
hardware, but
If you look at
Like, in
if you look
terms
at the
of
two
game
right
publishing.
now, PS4 has a ton of really interesting exclusives and developing new IPs and continually good sequels to old IPs. And right now, Microsoft has a lot of really shitty games coming out, or like sequels that are like, wow, this is like the worst one of the franchise and stuff like that.
I will admit, I'm excited for Scalebound, but I think I'm going to want to see the reviews for it before it comes
Yeah.
out. Because I've been burnt so hard by Platinum recently that I don't want to, like, touch anything they make.
Like recently, and like with Sony stuff, you have stuff like Until Dawn and The Last of Us, and you have Bloodborne. And on the Microsoft side, it's like, wow, this is the worst Halo game ever. How'd you do that?
Yeah.
How did you actually make the worst Halo game? Is more or less what the consensus is right now. It's like, oh man. And I say this as somebody who has 130,000 gamer score. Like, because inevitably someone would be like, "There's a Sony fanboy." It's like I have the equivalent of 130 completed AAA games on my gamer card for Xbox. Yeah.
That is a lot.
Yeah.
Mission complete.
Alright, did we get it?
Excellent work, Tenno.
Nope. We got
Trinity
the thing
Prime,
I needed,
Blue Helmet Blueprint.
but as far as Keith goes, fuck him.
Hiko
Wow.
Prime Pouch.
We are, what, 1 for 20?
Nice.
That's rough.